Winter weather alert for a winter weather advisory. And notice the wet weather coming in here is rain. Could see a little sleet or a couple of wet snowflakes mixing in, especially as this stuff heads north of Detroit. But the big concern is the switch over from rain to snow between 2 and 3 p.m. for most of us. So get ready for rounds of heavy rain this morning and heavy snow, several inches stacking up later today, Evrod.
And let's take a look at the roads. No issues there. We've got a look at your MDOT camera right at I-96 and Telegraph. Traffic moving by smoothly. It is 5:24, everybody, and police in Austin, Texas, still looking for the driver responsible for running over a woman in a Walmart parking lot. Watch this.
Surveillance video captured the driver of a Dodge pickup slamming into the woman while she was walking across the parking lot. This is around 2 a.m. That driver never stopped. A nearby witness rushed over to help the woman. At last report, she was in critical condition.
Unbelievable. Wow. It is 5:24, and coming up new in our next half hour, stories for you from Birmingham, Royal Oak, and Southfield.
Plus, this may not look like a appealing thing to try, but you can really clean up with a banana as long as it's ripe. We'll explain.
And MSU coach Tom Izzo says enough is enough. We'll explain after the break.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News Today at 5:30 starts now.
Shots fired at school, this time by a teacher. We've got the latest on what triggered a standoff with police. Plus this.
We're not answering any questions, my team, anymore about anything but basketball.
All right, enough said. Michigan State coach Tom Izzo with a stern message for the media and for the fans as well.
But first, call it the calm before a messy winter storm. We're talking rain and snow. All the things that you don't want to hear after a beautiful day yesterday. Welcome to, what day is it? It's Thursday? Why is it not Friday yet? Okay, Friday Eve. There we go. Brandon said it. We're getting closer to the weekend. We just got to get through this.
We do, and it is going to be a slippery day today, both literally and I think just for forecasting, a very tricky one. A live shot here from Mount Clemens. Rain showers starting to move in from the south, 39 degrees. A northeast wind is just 9, but the winds are going to be cranking later today. Notice downriver and parts of our south zone closer to the Ohio border getting wet. Also I-94 from Ann Arbor west toward Jackson wet. And then as you look up into Oakland, Livingston County, rain. And look at what is yet to come through the morning and early afternoon. Rain, and then a switch over, like a flash switch over to snow by about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Upper 30s, and then after lunch the numbers will be falling. These northeast winds 10 to 20, gusting a little stronger, and the numbers will drop steadily. And by again 2 p.m. rain to snow, and we have a winter weather advisory for most of the area for 3, 4, maybe 5 inches of snow accumulating later tonight, and then a band of heavier snow, Livingston, Oakland County possible, Jason, from 5 to 9 inch potential there. Again, most of that later today.
Directly quoting the Jedi of the Traffic Department, Kari Hobbs, from a text I just got. Morning, my good man. MDOT at 275 Ann Arbor Road with light traffic. Thank you, Kari. All right, so the message from Michigan State basketball coach Tom Izzo is, I'm not talking about anything but hoops.
Yeah, he's speaking out about basketball and the controversy swirling his program and the school.
Nick Monticelli's in the newsroom with more on this message to media and the fans.
Let me put this in perspective. Today is March 1st, meaning March Madness is upon us. And the message from Tom Izzo to his players is, you guys worry about the basketball. I will worry about everything else. To say it's been a tough road for Michigan State is an understatement, but in some cases the road was paved with necessary questions, like the university's handling of the Larry Nassar case. But yesterday, basketball coach Tom Izzo defended himself and his team, saying the allegations of corruption and sexual assault have been a distraction from the court.
Everything we've done, I think we've appropriately handled it exactly the way we were supposed to handle it at the rules of that time.
Miles Bridges was a key part of that narrative as the NCAA investigated potential corruption. The only thing that turned up was his parents accepting a $40 dinner from an agent.
He came back, they cleared him unequivocally. We do not have to, in any reason, shape, or form, think that there'll be anything else that he has to go through.
MSU has been under national scrutiny of late with the Nassar case, resignations from President Luanna K. Simon and Athletic Director Mark Hollis, and then later, those discussions about corruption and sexual assault. But Izzo's message now does not get much clearer. He is focusing on basketball, and his players are only going to talk about basketball.
It's basketball questions. I owe it to them, and I mean this strongly. I owe it to them, and I owe it to my staff, that we're going to focus in, because it's been a lot of distractions. Try to do it as best I could do it for all of you. Never cut off our locker room or anything else. But now it's going to be basketball time.
And for those of you non-sports fans, here's a little bit of insight into why all this is happening. Michigan State is traveling to Madison Square Gardens for the Big Ten tournament. They're the #1 seed. They have a double bye, meaning they'll be playing in the quarterfinals on Friday. In the newsroom, Nick Monticelli, Local 4 News Today.
Thank you, Nick. Police in Birmingham are looking for this man connected to a break-in earlier in the week. It happened early Sunday morning at the Primo's Pizza on Adams Road. Officers say they responded to alarms going off at the restaurant. You can see the man breaking in the front door. No one was inside the building at the time. The owner says a small amount of cash went missing. If you recognize this guy, contact Birmingham Police. An Oakland County woman will be sentenced on March 13th on drunk driving and child abuse charges. Police arrested 28-year-old Tanya Berta in December after she was caught driving the wrong way down I-75 with a 1-year-old in the back seat. She has pleaded guilty to those charges.
And we have some updates to tell you about this morning. Starting in Southfield, police are still investigating that apparent murder-suicide that left 2 people dead Wednesday morning. This happened at the Evergreen Meadows apartment complex on Evergreen Road. Police say that the 2 people were inside. They were 46-year-old Dana Bry and 53-year-old Avery Bry, who were recently divorced. Avery allegedly shot his ex-wife outside of her condo before eventually turning the gun on himself. Dana was found dead behind the wheel, and Avery was found lying next to the car. And over to Royal Oak, where the search is still on for a night prowler who's been lurking around homes since early February. He's hit several homes in Birmingham and Beverly Hills, and there is a pretty clear photo of him, pretty clear video of him, I should say. This was all in the early morning hours, and he would come inside through unlocked doors and windows. Police say that he's hit 5 more homes in Royal Oak over the last week. If you recognize this man that you just saw, or if you have any information about where he could be, please contact police. And the Detroit Zoo is soon to be home to over 60 bats after a local facility closed its doors due to lack of funding. After the abrupt closure of Pontiac's Bat Zone, 61 animals are en route to Royal Oak. The animals are going to be quarantined for about 30 days before moving to mostly behind-the-scenes areas of the zoo. Very interesting. All right, 5:35 is your time, and it's happened again to KFC. The fried chicken chain facing another shortage.
They don't have a shortage of kernels, though. One right after the next.
One right after the next, exactly.
First, why'd he do it? A popular teacher under arrest after opening fire inside his own classroom.
Diamonds.
A teacher in Georgia is behind bars this morning after allegedly firing at least 1 shot inside of a high school classroom on Wednesday. Police say the social studies teacher, 53-year-old Jesse Davidson, barricaded himself in his classroom and fired 1 shot from a handgun after the principal tried to enter. School was put on lockdown and students were evacuated. Fortunately, there were no students inside the class at the time and no injuries were reported. Police say Davidson surrendered after firing that shot.
We got an announcement on an intercom and they said an active shooter, and we ran to the other side of the classroom. People were crying.
Davidson faces a long list of charges, including terrorism threats and possession of a gun during a crime. He's been teaching at that school for nearly 15 years.
In Mississippi now, a police chief there has been suspended after a leaked video shows him smoking weed. The video appeared yesterday on Facebook. Well, and there you can see it. Officials don't know when this video was taken, but he is clearly taking a hit from a bowl there. But Christmas music can be heard in the background. Here's what the police chief, Shane Flint, had to say when confronted about it.
We just want to know if we could ask you just some questions about your suspension, your reasons why you may have wanted to
I don't have
terminate.
no comment on that. I mean, it's already been covered, you know.
Well, can we ask you about the video of you?
What video?
The video of you allegedly smoking marijuana?
I'm not aware of any of that.
I can show it to you.
I'm not aware of any of that.
You haven't seen the video?
No, sir. I'm not aware of it. I don't have no comment.
Would you like to see it?
No, sir.
We have the video. Would you like to see
He did not want to see it. The city's mayor says the chief will remain suspended until the city's board can meet next month to discuss it. But there the video is again. It is 5:40 and it's the annual livestock show and rodeo in Houston. Music legend Garth Brooks was the headliner, but a 6-year-old redhead stole the show.
Marley McDonald became the first mutton busting champion at the Houston Livestock and Rodeo Show by riding a sheep streaking across the arena. Take a look. Her ride was not the winning moment, it was her post-victory interview. Marley revealed she practiced riding on her dad and that when she grows up, she wants to be a spy.
What?
What part of being a spy is so interesting to you?
Like where you get to fight for the world, the bad guys, where you get to fight them.
Well, look at that. Marley has been a media darling since her championship ride, but she might have to disguise those redhead curls to be a successful spy, don't you think?
Well, if Melissa McCarthy can do it, I think she can grow up and do it as well. be a spy.
Mutton busted. Who knew? All right. Well, local community groups are sponsoring a 7th annual pancake breakfast here in the city of Detroit.
The breakfast will take place at the Rosedale Park Baptist Church on the west side this Saturday from 9 to noon. Tickets are $15 for an all-you-can-eat feast.
I'm trying to figure out how we follow a young redheaded mutton buster.
Well, and the pot-smoking chief before that as well.
Well, that too, who's apparently a Steelers fan. It is 5:42, everybody. Right now we want to check to see what's coming up on the Today Show starting at 7 a.m.
There's concern over ride-share drivers preying on customers. Look at this.
Good morning. Yeah, all across the country, we're starting to see this alarming trend. Police reporting that predators are preying on women in front of bars and in front of nightclubs late at night by posing as rideshare drivers. They pull up, pretend that they are the pickup. When the women get into the car, sometimes they are raped, assaulted, and threatened at knife point here in Los Angeles. In fact, police have now linked one man to 7 different cases. This is happening in small cities, in big cities across the country. And coming up on the Today Show, we're going to take you through some tips to keep you safe. Back to you.
All righty, we'll definitely be tuning in for that. Heavy snow is expected to hit areas of California this week and could even dump up to 7 feet of snow. Is that correct? 7 feet of snow over the historically dry Sierra Nevada by Saturday. 7 feet?
That is a ton.
What?
The National Weather Service in Sacramento says it will be the most significant storm of the season. Do you think so? Officials are expecting road closures, especially through the mountainous areas, and are advising drivers to be prepared for treacherous winter driving. With a full tank of gas, I would expect some Snickers, some hand warmers, bottled water. Make sure your cell phone is charged.
So we can't complain, Brandon.
Yeah, we have a pretty significant storm ourselves. Those storms are impacting high elevations that, you know, for big trucks, anybody going from Sacramento over to Lake Tahoe has to pass through there, or San Francisco to Lake Tahoe. But it's higher elevations, heavy snow. It's much needed for drainage into the Colorado River and for that normally arid area. Here we have middle upper 30s outside. 32 up in Sandusky is the cool spot. A winter storm warning, Livingston, Oakland County, starts at 10 a.m. But understand that the worst of this will be probably late afternoon and evening hours in a section of Livingston, Oakland counties that could get 6 inches or more of snow, and then the rest of the area covered with a winter weather advisory starting at 10 a.m. Tricky travel and several inches of snow again later in the day, mostly rain before that. And we are seeing rain moving into the area now. It gets heavier mid-morning into the early afternoon, and then by about 2 o'clock, that rain changes to snow. Here is the rain showing up here. Livingston, Oakland County, western Oakland County getting wet. Parts of Wayne, Washtenaw, just about everywhere except extreme north zone. And that will be filling in as well, and may start as a few wet snowflakes where the numbers are a little bit cooler. Sleet, snowflakes, and then changing over to rain back to snow. Here's one computer model that shows this little band area of eastern Livingston and most of Oakland County, 6-7 inches of snow there, with 4 or 5 possible around areas closer to Detroit. And then as we look at the RPM snow forecast model, this is number 2. This one again shows this heavier swath, Livingston, northern Oakland, with that 6 to 8 inch area and maybe 2 to 5 inches around most of Metro Detroit. And the very last one, which just mixes everything up, keeps the heavier bands along and south of I-94, Jackson, Washtenaw, Lenawee, and Monroe counties. According to this model, 7-8 inches of snow, 3-4 inches for the rest of us. So you understand my frustration with this storm. Where will that heaviest band set up? Well, we do know, again, around 2-3 o'clock this afternoon, it should be a pretty widespread transition to snow, and that means your evening drive will be very, very slushy and dangerous, and that's why we have the advisory out there. So just plan for that. If you can leave work a little early or just avoid that peak commute. This morning, it's mainly wet, rain, and later today, slushy, icy, snowy commute. Tomorrow morning could be a little slippery too, but that's just residual stuff. Most of tomorrow is dry, still breezy and chilly, but the weekend also, guys, looks dry. Jason, any issues thus far via Kari?
Yeah, we're looking at Linwood here. I'm sorry, Davis and Linwood to 14th. One lane blocked 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. today and tomorrow. So that is your update for now. We'll be back with more in a few minutes.
It is 5:47, everybody. Let's get you updated on some stories that you might have missed. It's just 3 days before the Oscars. Can you believe this? 3 billboards outside of Hollywood are grabbing a lot of attention, to say the least.
A street artist hijacked the billboards and shared his own message. The first says, and the Oscar for biggest pedophile goes to. The next read, we all knew. And the third and final sign urges people to speak up. The artist says they're meant to criticize those who allegedly enabled sexual harassment within the entertainment industry.
Wow, that says a lot.
That's pretty bold.
It's very, very bold. So frequent freeway drivers have come to expect traffic delays, and if you are driving in rush hour in Detroit, we all know that too well. However, in another area, this backup was certainly not the norm.
Look at this right here. Firefighters and public safety workers stopped and diverted traffic to catch 2 dogs running loose on the freeway. This was on Wednesday. The duo stayed together for the most part while weaving in and out of cars. One was caught on the freeway, the other at a nearby mobile home park. Both are safe and sound. Animal control is now looking for their owners.
Somehow they got loose.
I've seen dogs on the lodge.
Me too.
Hope that they make it to wherever it is they're going.
I've seen dogs not make it on the lodge too. It's a very scary sight. It's 5:48. Just after that whole chicken shortage at KFC, you might remember that. Restaurants closed last week in the UK because the fast food chain has run into another problem. They are short on gravy.
Now I've got a problem. Being a big fan of KFC's gravy. 900 outlets already operating on a limited menu from the chicken snafu, and the gravy shortage isn't easing their concerns.
So the chicken chain has now apologized and telling Twitter users to click on hashtag Where's My Chicken? A question that I ask myself about every day.
Gus's, just go to Gus's.
To find the open restaurants, the chain allegedly switched suppliers, and they're blaming that on operational issues.
Now I officially am hungry.
I know. You want some gravy?
As long as I don't get a parking ticket the last time I went to Gus's.
I'm not a fan of like KFC gravy though. Are you?
Yeah, you don't like it?
That's your jam?
With the mashed potatoes?
I mean, gravy, it's just like a glop of fat.
And?
Well, you enjoy it. I'll just have the chicken. How about
All right.
that? Okay. So after nearly, well, then they're short of both of those things. After nearly 4 decades behind the counter at Miller Brothers in Mount Clemens, this 93-year-old woman, the owner, is finally retiring. 93 years old.
Miller Brothers is an institution in Mount Clemens. Many residents have gone to the store for some ice cream since they were kids and now bring their kids to do the same. And they were likely served by Irene Sloktovitz. And now the 93-year-old is hanging up the scoop.
I like it. This was my home. It was all like family. And I like it better here than sitting home by myself, nothing doing, you know.
Well, Irene says that she hopes someone continues to run that store now that she is retired. And listen, I know it is difficult to get up in the morning if you're waking up with us right now, but if Irene at 93 years old can get up and go and scoop some ice cream, you can too.
There's another lady that works at the KFC over at Telegraph and 9 Mile or something like that.
Do they have gravy there?
She's been on the job so long, she actually met the Colonel. That's how long she's been working at.
Which one, Reba or Rob Lowe?
Well played. After the break, banana benefits. We're talking about sticking it in the tailpipe like Axel Foley. Achmel Foley.
We can't with this show anymore. We even have demonstrations, apparently. Stick around for this.
Now live in the D.
On the next Live in the D, the new makeup sensation born right here in the D.
Plus, experts show how to bring new life to your old furniture.
Today at 10 a.m. on Local 4.
Chances are.
Here is a look at the radar. Very important. We pay close attention to this. Rain showers are really going to start filling in. Could see a couple of wet snowflakes mixing in, but again, mostly rain through the first half of the day, and then bouts of heavy rain late morning into the early afternoon. Could get some localized flooding, but then some heavy snow through the mid and late afternoon and evening. That snow will drop several inches at least through tonight. Jason.
Let's take a look at a traffic camera here, 696 at Evergreen, and as you can see by the moving headlights and the frozen image, we're all good.
It is 5:55, everybody. Kim is off today, but we still have a Thrifty Thursday to talk about, and she's talking about one of her favorite snacks, a banana.
Go bananas. Kim says they can do the body good, and it can actually be pretty useful for things you may not expect.
If you're looking to quit smoking, try eating more bananas. Studies have shown that the high levels of vitamin B and potassium found in bananas can ease the withdrawal symptoms from nicotine. If you're baking and a recipe calls for eggs, but you happen to be out, you can use a banana as a substitute. A half of a banana is equal to 1 egg. You can use the inside of a banana peel to shine your shoes. Rub the peel on your shoes, then wipe off any banana residue with a cloth. Notice what a difference it makes. Some say banana peel can also help with wart removal. Try placing a small piece of the banana peel on your wart. Tape the peel in place before going to bed. Remove the tape in the morning. Repeat every night until the wart goes away.
Well, how about that?
Did you know that bananas, the Cavendish bananas, like featured in that story, are going extinct? They have a problem, and someday, sometime, someplace, we will run out of those.
Really? So what are we going to do to shine my shoes then? See that?
Put them in the freezer. That's what Brandon does.
Oh, boy. All right. Let's talk about Colorado, because the baseball players there looking to play in Texas might want to find some other place.
A Colorado player says he recently got an email response from the Texas Wesleyan University coach, Mike Jeffcoat. His email as a response, he specifies that players from Colorado have a hard time passing drug tests, and no players from the state will be recruited as a result.
So Texas Wesleyan posted online that the coach's message does not reflect any school policy. But just Colorado, though?
Well, they did legalize, and
so did Washington, so did California.
Apparently they're mile high, and that might make the difference. I'm not sure. See what I did there?
All right. Let's just move along, everybody. 5:57 is your time, and coming up all new at 6 o'clock, local stories for you from Warren, Monroe, and South Lyon.
Plus, they've been used in hospitals for decades, but are the IV drips going into patients' arms doing more harm than good?
And pretty soon, you could own a piece of Spotify. We'll tell you when the music streaming service plans to go public when we come back in 1 minute. Keep it here.
Vote now for live from downtown Detroit. Local 4 News Today at 6 starts now.
A gunman on the run and looking for his next target. And this morning, a multi-city manhunt is underway.
Plus, President Trump's top aide, the so-called Trump whisperer, resigning. And it comes just a day after she made a stunning admission.
But first, the return of winter. Where did it go? After a taste of spring, snow is on the way. We got a winter weather alert and a warning that'll go into effect a little bit later this morning. Kind of hard to believe, though, isn't it?
You know, being from Michigan, you just get used to it. I mean, the fact that we thought we were turning the corner into March and an early spring, and now we're going to get, what, 6, 7, 8, 9 inches of snow? I mean,
here's the thing, though. Not a single person on my Facebook page is used to it yet. You can sound off there. Or you can just yell at Brandon when you see him out in the streets.
Yeah, blame Brandon. Go to our Local 4 Facebook page and just unload on Brandon because it's all his fault.
Well, my Facebook friends are tougher. They don't complain about it. I'm not saying. Oh, nobody likes, forecasting this kind of stuff is super tricky. When is it going to switch over from rain to snow? How much are you going to get? Where's the heavier band going to be? The models are all over the place. So sympathize, send me some sympathy letters on Facebook. 38 right now, and the rain is moving up from the south and almost blanketing the area with light to moderate rain, and it is going to intensify through the mid to late morning as there are some gaps, some holes in the action here. But again, we have more moisture coming out of Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio that is pivoting in our direction. A winter storm warning posted for Livingston, Oakland County for mainly this afternoon, and the transition from rain to snow. That could be that band or that area that sees 5 to 8 inches in some spots, while the rest of us have this winter weather advisory today, and that always means tricky travel. And we have slippery roads from rain this morning, and the evening drive will be treacherous with heavy snow, slushy road conditions. But again, maybe an inch of rain coming before 2 or 3 o'clock, and after 2 p.m. we will see that switch over to snow that will be stacking up through the afternoon and evening. And if you're heading out the door right now, make sure you download the Local Forecasters app. It has a great active radar on it, all of the updates for any warnings, advisories, severe weather alerts, and road conditions. We have you covered there. The Local Forecasters app is free in your app store under WDIV, Evrod.
Thank you, Brandon. Let's get into Fort Live traffic right now. We got no issues. MDOT at 275 right at 7 Mile in the Livonia area. You can see traffic volume starting to pick up this morning, but no issues to report. And we are following a car accident this morning, though, on Detroit's west side. A car rolled over right at the Southfield Freeway and Warren Avenue. Police are there on the scene. They're investigating the cause of this crash. We will keep you updated on any traffic issues that might come because of this. You can stay tuned here to Local 4. Now to a developing story that stretches all the way from Detroit to Warren.
Right now, police from both departments are looking for a gunman before he can harm anybody else. Nick Monticelli is live, and Nick, he already shot one person. How does Roseville figure into this? I think you mentioned Roseville the last hour.
I did. Roseville is actually out there looking as well because they're pretty close on that border. Frazzo and Hayes, not too far from their jurisdiction as well. So this all started as a family argument. Two cousins arguing over some money that's allegedly owed to somebody else. Then the shotgun gets pulled, and now police are looking for what essentially is attempted murder. The shooting happened last night at East Outer Drive and Ohio, which is near Wyoming. We're told the fight was between two cousins. It was over money owed to a sick relative. The argument turned into a fist fight, and then one of the men pulled out a shotgun and shot the other in the chest. That man is in critical condition, but he was able to tell police where the shooter was heading, which brings us to Warren, near these Regency apartments at Frazzo and Hayes. Detroit police were searching, as well as Warren and Roseville PD. The shooter is driving a gray 2012 Chevy Cruze or Cobalt with just one working headlight. Anyone who sees that car is asked just to call police.
Don't take any action. It's not a time for vigilantes. We want them to dial 911, tell them where they seen the car, a good description of it, and its last direction it was headed. We don't even want them to follow that vehicle.
And I'll reiterate what the captain was saying. Don't try to be a hero in this situation because honestly, he could be armed and dangerous at this point. Again, call 911 if you see the vehicle, call Crime Stoppers, call DPD, just call somebody so police can arrest this guy. We're live here at DPD headquarters. Nick Monticelli, Local 4 News today.
Yeah, let's get this person off the streets. Nick, thank you.
A student remains in custody this morning after bringing a hand grenade to school. Police say the teenager showed it to other students and threatened to blow up Monroe Middle School. After a search, police found the grenade in the student's locker, but they found it to be decommissioned and incapable of exploding. The student was taken from class and into custody on Wednesday. The teen is being held at the Monroe County Youth Center for possession of an explosive. The South Lyon High School student who made false violent threats last month appeared in court for the first time on Wednesday. Police said Ryan DeBruin sent a friend a Snapchat message asking if he wanted to reenact the Florida shooting. His friend responded no and reported him to police. He's been charged with terrorism and making a false report, a 20-year felony, a ruling his classmates say is wrong.
It was correct for them to report it, but I feel like to take it this seriously and to put this bail or this bond at $10 million is a little bit absurd.
I believe he made a wrong decision, but shouldn't be treated as a felon.
All right, thank you. All right, DeBruin is back in court March 22nd for a preliminary hearing.
Today will be another emotional day for students and staff at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. The school reopened yesterday for the first time since that shooting nearly 2 weeks ago. However, students didn't jump right back into the swing of things. Group sessions and therapy dogs were on site to help relieve students and staff of stress. Even with all the amenities, though, some students say it's still too hard to move on, and they're nervous going back to school.
It's because it's like the first day back, and like I just keep thinking of like the day it happened.
Words cannot, describe how painful it is to see, an empty seat.
You really can only imagine. Nearly 100 armed police officers were also at the school, showing a commitment to safety for those students and staff members. The district superintendent says the guards won't be going anywhere else for the foreseeable future.
Our streets are a little safer this morning after the feds facilitate a bust seizing several guns and large amounts of illegal drugs. 5 people have been charged in the heroin bust, and the first alleged drug driver, Richard Miller, appeared before a judge on Wednesday. Court documents reveal undercover agents made 3 separate heroin purchases from the defendant over the course of several months. Miller has been released on bond, but his co-defendants have yet to be arrested.
It is 6:07, and there was a wild brawl inside of a Detroit restaurant this past weekend, and it was all caught on camera. Check out this cell phone video. It shows 2 workers fighting with a customer. This is at the Asian Corned Beef on Gratiot near 6 Mile. That's on Detroit's east side. Employees say that the customer opened the door to the employee area and got aggressive, making threats towards them, in fact. They also say the customer was intoxicated when he approached the employees. The managers involved said that they were just protecting their workers.
He grabbed my general manager, and from that point on, we had to escort him out the door. We have the right to protect ourselves within our grounds.
Now, the restaurant currently in line to become a green light partner with the city, and managers say that they don't wish to press charges. Boycotting Amazon and Apple is what we're talking about this morning. There's a push to stop supporting the tech giants, well, at least for today.
And it continues to have a high turnover rate. And we are not talking about a fast food restaurant. Nope. One of President Trump's top aides, another one, leaving the White House. The controversy that led to her resigning. Next.
All right, welcome back, everybody. In All for Pets this morning, all about animals in Warren, offering free cat care all month long. Any stray, community, or free-roaming cat, welcome to be brought in for a free spay or neuter, rabies vaccine, and ear tip. Up to 3 cats can be brought in, appointment-free, Monday through Friday. 4 or more cats, though, require an appointment. We're back in a minute.
Right now.
The White House is looking for another communications director in just over a year after Hope Hicks announced she's leaving the job in the coming weeks. It's another high-profile departure from the Trump administration. Hicks was one of the first people to join the Trump campaign after working in the Trump family business. White House officials already considering candidates to replace Hope Hicks as White House communications director. But even when that job is filled, analysts say there will still be a large role Hicks played that will remain unfilled, and that's trusted confidant and aide to the president.
Hope Hicks is a tremendously talented person.
Hicks worked in the Trump organization and signed on to the campaign in its earliest days.
And it's not just that she's been in that crucial job, it's that she has been somebody who kind of had a connection to him that very few other people had.
She announced her resignation a day after testifying about the Russia investigation on Capitol Hill, where she apparently said she occasionally told white lies as part of her job.
She was asked, did Donald Trump ever ask her to lie? And her answer was
that she never told an untruth on anything of substance.
Intelligence Committee Democrats blasted Hicks' refusal to answer most questions.
She said the White House told her she couldn't answer, which is actually an unlawful act.
White House officials say Hicks has been planning to exit for months and insist Hicks' congressional testimony had nothing to do with her resignation. A White House official says the president called her irreplaceable.
He's got at least another a pretty long and isolating 3 to 7 years ahead of him.
Another surprise from the West Wing, where it appears the only constant is change. Hicks has been by the president's side for every critical campaign moment. Her office is just outside the Oval Office, and she is expected to leave the White House in the next few weeks.
Some of Michigan's top lawmakers have been subpoenaed in a Michigan gerrymandering suit. That is according to a Detroit News report that was published yesterday. Gerrymandering is when politicians reshape district boundaries to favor one party, increasing the chances of one party holding a majority in the government. A lawsuit is claiming Republicans discriminated against some voters by political maps to benefit the GOP. Republican lawmakers will likely fight the subpoenas, similar to their fight over a separate lawsuit suspending straight ticket voting last year. It is 6:14, everybody. Time for a check of weather and traffic on the 4s. And there's a lot to talk about in the weather department. If you're just waking up, snow is on the way.
It is.
Which sounds too bad to be true.
It's the most wonderful time.
That's exactly how I feel.
You know, we've had a few clippers that brought a couple inches of snow, but we've had some memorable snows this season,
to say the least.
And today certainly will be another one of those. Blinding snow later. The question marks still remain as to how long will it take the snow to begin accumulating after a couple of 60-degree days, after some heavy rain throughout the first part of the day. Could take a little while, and that messes snow accumulation forecasting up big time. But the National Weather Service has issued a winter storm warning for Livingston, Oakland County. Although it starts at 10 a.m. today, it's mainly for the afternoon and evening hours, and that little corridor here from maybe Lansing to Howell and Pontiac. This could be an area of 6 to 8 inches of snow. The winter weather advisory for the rest of us, again, mainly for the afternoon and evening. It means travel at your own risk. With slushy, snowy conditions, the evening drive is going to be a disaster. Here's one snow total model. And again, it has this little area over in parts of Livingston, Oakland County getting 6-7 inches of snow, while the rest of us end up all said and done, maybe 2 to 5 inches, something like that. I have a couple of other snow models to show you in just a second. 38 right now with a northeast wind. Wind chills are close to freezing, but air temps still a little too warm. So it's mainly rain all the way through the morning. Rain's coming up from the south, but the switch to snow happens from north to south, sort of the opposite, but that's where it will be colder and turning to snow first. As we expect most will see that switch 1, 2 o'clock this afternoon, and then through the afternoon and evening, some heavy, heavy stuff. You see the heavy rain that is now coming into our south zone, or in our south zone, and moving up into Washtenaw, Wayne, Oakland, Livingston. Everybody's seeing a little rain already, with the exception of areas along and north of I-69. Here's yet another snow total forecast that has 2 to 4 or 5 inches for most of Metro Detroit, with a couple of bands potentially bringing that 6, 7, 8-inch area. Again, we'll have to wait and see. Good news is it will dry out after midnight tonight, and we will get a little sun tomorrow, although it'll be cool and breezy tomorrow. Evening drive today and the morning drive tomorrow are really going to be nasty and dangerous, so just planting those seeds. Be careful. The weekend right now looking dry and fairly mild, but here's a great look from our Bernie Zettner out at the Henry Ford Museum over in the Dearborn area, where we see the flag blown. We see a little bit of spit and drizzle, a little rain. It's going to get a little heavier. Our Hanson's weather window. A beautiful shot. Jason.
All right, so let's take a look. Northbound and southbound 375 north of Jefferson. We have one lane open there, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastbound, westbound 94 at Woodward, one lane open, 11 p.m. until 1 a.m. And we'll take a look at Sky 4 over 75 and 696. Looking pretty steady right there. Mesmerizing. It's like a Pink Floyd concert.
All right, Jason, thank you. 6:18 is your time now. Let's get into today's consumer headlines. We're talking about Spotify going public, plus Best Buy closing all of its mobile stores. But first, a push to boycott Amazon and Apple. Let's check in with Maribel Aber. She joins us live now from NASDAQ to explain boycotting these two companies.
Yeah, good morning, Evrod. And it's all over social media. Boycott of Apple, Amazon, and also FedEx, among other companies, over ties to the NRA is underway. The boycott targets the tech giants for offering access to the Gun Association's TV streaming video channel. So people have vowed to cancel their Apple Music accounts and Amazon Prime memberships. News of the boycott is spreading through the hashtag March1 NRA boycott. Best Buy is closing all of its small mobile phone stores, according to CNBC. There are about 250 of the small format stores. Almost all are located in malls. The chain believes it can transition customers of the stores to other sales channels. Best Buy said 85% of the mobile stores are actually within 3 miles of one of its big box locations. Spotify has filed the paperwork to go public. The music streaming service plans to issue shares on the New York Stock Exchange, but it's an unusual IPO. No new stock is being issued. Instead, existing investors and insiders can trade their shares on the open market. Spotify shares will trade under the ticker symbol SPOT, but no word on when. Evrod, Spotify has been a game changer for me. I'm just waiting for when your tunes are going to show up there.
My tunes are on Spotify. You can go and listen to them right now.
Oh, then I need your channel.
Well, there you go. Go look for it. All right, Maribel, thank you. There you go.
Still ahead in good health, the dangers of a hospital IV. That's weird. Why experts now say saline solution is the wrong solution.
Plus, we are going to be seeing it later today, but where this snow fell is not something that you see every day. We'll tell you where coming up. But before we go to break, let's meet today's Facebook friend for the day. This is Trisha White. She's from Canton. She and her husband have 2 children, and she tells us that she volunteers at her kids' schools weekly and enjoys art.
We have a $25 gift card to spoil your pets if you have some, or perhaps share with a friend at any one of the premier pet supply locations. They are in Beverly Hills, Rochester Hills, Livonia, and Novi. If you would like to be our friend of the day, just like Trisha, click on the Friend of the Day tab on our Facebook page. Like us, too. Stay tuned.
Well, here's something you don't see every day in Arizona. It's a desert. Snow, but several inches of it fell in the Flagstaff area. They are in the mountains there. Residents are used to some snow throughout the year in the Flagstaff area. They're not used to getting 7 inches in 2 days. Wah. The National Weather Service says snow showers will continue through the day with low visibility, slick road conditions. So if your commute today takes you through Flagstaff, never mind. Ours is going to be much worse. Here's a quick little look at our storm actually benefited or was enhanced by this little storm that rolled out of the Four Corners area yesterday. You see some of that snow, and we'll bring it on back home here where we now have rain and will or should have rain through the lunch hour. Some areas maybe get an inch of rain. That will complicate snow totals, but after 1 or 2 o'clock, just about everybody's switching over to snow. Pockets of heavy snow, accumulating snow, and a really dangerous travel tonight, Evrod.
All righty, Brandon, let's take a look at traffic for you right now. Our live look at our MDOT camera. It's at 696 and DeQuinder. You can see traffic moving smoothly in that area. Jason?
Let's turn now to good health. Could that saline drip at the hospital be harming you instead of helping you? A new study shows each bag of saline contains the same amount of sodium as 20 snack-sized bags of potato chips. Vanderbilt University conducted the research and has begun phasing out saline and using balanced fluids instead, which contain less salt and are more like, say, plasma. The difference could mean up to 70,000 fewer deaths and 100,000 fewer cases of kidney failure each year. It's amazing.
That's pretty eye-opening. All right, 6:25 is your time. Coming up next at 6:30, local stories for you from Southfield, Birmingham, and Detroit.
Plus, he was an uninvited guest, but he keeps turning up at homes across Metro Detroit. Why police are hoping to track him down sooner than later.
Plus, the dangers of technology, from phones to laptops. There have been reports of sparking and fires. So ahead, making sure that you're protected if it happens to you.
Imagine the...
Good morning, everyone. Pistons' three-game losing streak is over at LCA last night. They wiped out the Milwaukee Bucks 110-87. Detroit's still 3 games out of a playoff spot with 21 to go. They won this game because in offensive rebounds, 22-6 over the Bucks. We've got highlights. First quarter, Pistons inbounding, 6 seconds left in the quarter. Anthony Tolliver is going to get it, bury the three-pointer. He had 6, tied at 32 all after 1. Third quarter, Bucks with the ball, but the Pistons forced a turnover. Ahead to Blake Griffin for the slam. He had only 8. Pistons led it, though, 69-58. Later in the third, off the Milwaukee miss. Pistons on the run. Watch the move by Stanley Johnson here. He's got it. Oh, behind the back, gets the layup. He had 19. Pistons led by 15 after 3. Fourth quarter, Pistons with the ball. Dwight Bikes with the miss, but Eric Moreland is there for the follow. 10 points for him. Pistons win it by 33. NHL last night in St. Louis. The Blues beat the Wings 2-1. I'm Bernie Smolovitz. We'll see you later today at 5, 6, and 11.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News Today at 6:30 starts now.
Playing defense, MSU basketball coach Tom Izzo speaking out about what he no longer plans to talk about.
Taking aim, sports and retail giants Walmart and Dick's Sporting Goods take drastic action regarding the gun control debates. Brandon?
One little area here near Lansing where we're seeing some actual snowflakes. For the rest of us, it's mainly drips and drops. And if we can sort of focus here on the details of some of the heavier rain falling later today, 5 to 8 inches. In a few spots.
No.
No!
It just doesn't even seem real. On my Facebook page, I think I had one person that said they were ready for it and excited. Everybody else, like all 50,000 of you, were like, no, we're done.
Well, my daughter did get skis for her birthday, so
she's ready to test. So did you get them on discount? Is that what you thought?
No. Brand new ones, ready to go. She's going to be tearing down the mountain.
Or the lodge.
Or one of the two, yeah, exactly.
Let's turn things over to meteorologist Brandon. 5 to 8 inches. I don't care about this in spots thing as long as it's not in my home spot. There we go. Our sound effects.
That's the theme to your Facebook page today.
Our shady sound effects guy.
It's like Eeyore. Ooh, this black cloud.
Charlie Brown's teacher.
Hey, come on. If I know Jason's daughter is a lot like mine. They have the same name. But my daughter this time around skiing was bombing the hills. So yeah, get going, get out there. Fearless, kind of fun watching the Olympics and then now skiing. It maybe adds a little confidence. And later today, tonight, a better opportunity. But you see the 30s all over the place. Notice the flag whipping. The winds are pretty strong out of the northeast. And here comes the rain. It is falling and coming down at a decent clip right now along and south of I-94. So if you are traveling 94 out of Detroit to Ann Arbor and Jackson, very, very slippery there. Pooling and ponding a possibility. I-75 south down into Monroe County, also getting heavy. And that heavier stuff is moving from south to north. And all of this wet weather will be pivoting in our direction, intensifying, getting a little heavier. Many areas around Detroit, an inch of rain. And then later today, it's all about the snow, which is why the Weather Service has issued a winter weather advisory covering the area. And per their language, this is for the possibility of 3 to 6 inches of snow, mainly starting in the afternoon. And then this little area here, Livingston, Oakland counties, winter storm warning for the possibility of 5 to 9 inches of snow. Woo! We'll take a closer look because there is a lot at play that can change everything. Either way, it is not going to be fun, especially during the afternoon and evening drive. But we've got you covered. The Local Forecasters app. Download this. It's free under WDIV, interactive radar, all the weather alerts, road conditions, you name it, Jason.
All right, let's take a look. Eastbound, westbound Davidson, Linwood to 14th, one lane blocked, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's both today and tomorrow. Keep a lookout for that guy, the lone shuffler there. He'll be there. And Sky 4 over the Lodge, M10, M39. Let's see, looking pretty good there. Looking pretty good. Now we turn to crisis on campus. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. And this morning, Michigan State coach Tom Izzo has a stern message for both the media and the fans.
Yeah, he's talking out about basketball and the controversy surrounding MSU. And as our Nick Monticelli explains, Izzo now says enough.
Let me put this in perspective. Today is March 1st, meaning March Madness is upon us. And the message from Tom Izzo to his players is, you guys worry about the basketball. I will worry about everything else. To say it's been a tough road for Michigan State is an understatement, but in some cases the road was paved with necessary questions, like the university's handling of the Larry Nassar case. But yesterday, basketball coach Tom Izzo defended himself and his team, saying the allegations of corruption and sexual assault have been a distraction from the court.
Everything we've done, I think we've appropriately handled it exactly the way we were supposed to handle it at the rules of that time.
Miles Bridges was a key part of that narrative as the NCAA investigated potential corruption. The only thing that turned up was his parents accepting a $40 dinner from an agent.
He came back, they cleared him unequivocally. We do not have to, in any reason, shape, or form, think that there'll be anything else that he has to go through.
MSU has been under national scrutiny of late with the Nassar case, resignations from President Luana K. Simon and Athletic Director Mark Hollis, and then later, those discussions about corruption and sexual assault. But Izzo's message now does not get much clearer. He is focusing on basketball, and his players are only going to talk about basketball.
It's basketball questions. I owe it to them, and I mean this strongly. I owe it to them and I owe it to my staff that we're going to focus in, because it's been a lot of distractions. Try to do it as best I could do it for all of you, never cut off our locker room or anything else. But now it's going to be basketball time.
And for those of you non-sports fans, here's a little bit of insight into why all this is happening. Michigan State is traveling to Madison Square Gardens for the Big Ten tournament. They're the #1 seed. They have a double bye, meaning they'll be playing in the quarterfinals on Friday. In the newsroom, Nick Monticelli, Local 4 News Today.
Thank you, Nick. We are following stories all across Metro Detroit this morning, including those out of Birmingham, Royal Oak, and Detroit.
But first, we go to Southfield, where we have an update to a breaking news story that we first brought you yesterday morning, where police say that it was a domestic violence case between a man and a woman. They were found dead in an apparent murder-suicide. You might remember this story. It happened at the Evergreen Meadows apartment complex, the one on Evergreen Road. 53-year-old Avery Bry allegedly shot his wife, his ex-wife, I should say, 46-year-old Dana Bry, before turning the gun on himself. Dana was found behind the wheel of her car, and Avery was discovered next to the wheel.
It's a tough story. A former Detroit EMT has been found guilty for refusing to help an 8-month-old girl. Anne Marie Thomas was found guilty of willful neglect of duty in connection to an incident from May of 2015. Thomas delayed her response to arrive at the scene where an 8-month-old was struggling to breathe. Prosecutors say that delay resulted in the infant's death. Thomas could face up to 5 years in prison. She'll be sentenced April 12th.
And over to Royal Oak now. Police are looking for this guy, a robber who's been coming into people's homes from the back door. He's hit homes in Birmingham and Beverly Hills earlier this month and has hit 5 more times in Royal Oak in the past week alone. We're going to show you the video here of him again, a pretty clear video at that. If you recognize him, police want to hear from you.
And over to Birmingham, where police are looking for this man in connection to a break-in early Sunday morning at the Primo's Pizza on Adams Road. Officers say they responded to alarms going off at the restaurant. You can see the man breaking in the front door. No one was inside at the time. The owner says a small amount of cash went missing. Check your pockets. There's a big Powerball winner who has not claimed their prize and may miss out on some serious cash.
Yeah, the winning numbers right here on your screen. They are 10, 16, 40, 52, 55, and 17. The $50,000 winning ticket was sold at an Aramark Corporation Detroit, Wayne, on this day of last year. And it's the last day that you can claim your prize. So if you discover that you have the winning ticket, you should contact the Michigan Lottery. That's a lot of money to give up. You know, you paid for the ticket, it's $50,000. Why not? 6:38, everybody, and still ahead. When technology explodes, and we do mean explodes in the literal sense of the word, we'll tell you how to know if you're protected. That's coming up in our Help Me Hang Consumer Report.
But first, taking matters into their own hands. But will it actually make a difference? The controversial move from two major gun retailers. Next.
Sky 4.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is 6:41, and women rallied at the state capitol in Lansing to demand action by the legislature on gun violence. Hundreds of volunteers with Michigan Moms Demand Action urged lawmakers to pass gun safety legislation. They want laws which would allow family members or law enforcement to petition a court to temporarily limit an individual's access to firearms.
While lawmakers debate gun control, some retailers are taking matters into their own hands. First, it was Dick's Sporting Goods, and now Walmart. The moves come after 2 weeks after the deadly high school shooting in Florida, where a 19-year-old used an assault rifle to kill 17 people. On Wednesday, Dick's Sporting Goods announced it will no longer sell a gun to anyone under the age of 21. Later in the day, Walmart followed suit. Under federal law, 18-year-olds can buy semi-automatic rifles and other firearms, but have to wait until 21 to buy handguns. Now, Dick's Sporting Goods actually took it a step further, saying it's ending all assault rifle sales. But the question is, will private gun stores follow suit? Probably not. Right now, they're just trying to keep up with demand.
Just can't keep up with it. It's kind of easy for them to do this because they sell so many other products. If they were only relying on firearms, you wouldn't have heard this from them.
Now, there are a lot of comments from our Facebook page. Let's share a few of those right now. Michael says, wrong move, we will just purchase elsewhere. Christy says, my new favorite store is Dick's. All my sporting goods needs will be bought there. Thank you. Brandon, can go to war but can't buy a gun at these places. And finally, Sally says, these are the changes that will actually make a difference eventually. Self-regulation by the sellers. Today, it seems like token changes, but hopefully it will take off. What do you think? Sound off on our Local 4 Facebook page. Guys?
All righty, Jason, thank you. We've kind of been trapped in this roller coaster of wild weather over the past few days,
Yes.
in fact. And the story that we're getting a taste of is, or that we're going to get a taste of, has already impacted other parts of the country, right?
Right. We showed you some of the snow in Flagstaff, Arizona. That was
Right.
one system. It teamed with another system straight down south from here. Take a look at some massive flooding.
Wow.
This was in Arkansas, just east of Little Rock, Arkansas. People are evacuating as many of the roads and areas are flooded out, and several inches of rain in that storm fell. It's amazing to see all of this wet weather. Waters continue to rise as more rain is falling right now and will continue for the rest of the week. Well, let's take a look at your winter weather alerts. This is due to primarily the transition we're going to go through later in the day. For the morning, it's manageable rain. May get a couple of wet snowflakes mixed in. 38 degrees and a little breezy. Winter weather advisory for the entire area. Tricky travel, again, mainly for the afternoon and evening when rain switches to snow. And a certain area here, likely along I-96 and M59, Livingston, Oakland counties, winter storm warning for what could be 5 to 8 or 9 inches of snow. We're not sold on that happening because of the amount of rain we're going to get first and just exactly when it switches to snow. Those will play a huge part, and you can sort of play along at home. So if snow begins falling before 2 o'clock, you're likely to get a little bit higher end of snow accumulation. But if the rain holds on through 3 or even 4 o'clock this afternoon, certainly expect less. You see here we have the rain coming down pretty good in our south zone, moving slowly from south to north. There are showers to our west, and it's just barely moving into our north zone, but pivoting in our direction, and it keeps on coming. Snow totals all over the map once again, with heavier bands starting after lunch and into the evening hours. Rain before that, but it's parts of Livingston, Oakland County, 6-7 inches of snow there. This model keeps most of the heavy snow south of I-94. 7, 8 inches of snow there. Either way, it is going to be a wet, heavy snow, a slushy, icy evening drive, and mainly just a wet morning drive from rain. Heavy rain at times today, changing to heavy snow, and then we start to get on the good side of things for a little while tomorrow. Still a little cold and breezy, but some sun coming back out, and then Saturday and Sunday, dry days heading into early next week as well. March is reading month, and we want to show you something really cool. This is Southfield teacher Mrs. Benson of MacArthur University Academy shortly after she read a book about segregation called Sit In, How 4 Friends Stood Up by Sitting Down by Andrea Davis Pinkney. And she read that to her 3rd graders. The students then went on midwinter break. And when they returned, they were so excited about the Black Panther movie and how all the characters were royalty. They decided, as you can see, to adopt the Wakanda handshake as their own. Hats off to you, Mrs. Benson, for that. A great little something going on in Southfield. This was me yesterday in Royal Oak. This is Northwood Elementary School, and I read to the 1st graders there. Great group of kids. We also did some weather experiments, but it was all about cloudy with a chance of meatballs. And I want to just tip my cap to Mrs. Christine and a great group of 1st graders. Northwood Elementary in Royal Oak. March is reading month, and we're going to be focused on that all month long, going to your kids' schools. And we have more information on Facebook and Click on Detroit about that. Jason has a look at your roads, which right now mainly just wet.
Yeah, we're looking at 96 in Kensington. You can see steady traffic flowing through that area. Everett?
Thank you, Jason. It is 6:47. We've got a Help Me Hank consumer alert for you this morning. So you've heard about countless complaints about cell phones and hoverboards giving off sparks or even catching fire when they're charging or even when you're using them. Well, this time it was a laptop computer. Watch this. It was supposed to be the perfect Christmas for her high school daughter.
She needed it for school. She uses it every day to do her work.
Denise bought this Dell laptop a couple Christmases ago for just over $500. Less than a year later, one night last November,
She was charging it for about an hour or so when we heard a loud pop and some screaming. So I went running in and the laptop was smoking. So I quickly unplugged it, ran it out the back door, and left it outside. It was very scary, and then to see the laptop smoking the way it was frightening.
She claims the laptop left this mark on her wooden deck. Denise contacted Dell and sent pictures of the damaged laptop. Her complaint was escalated to Dell's safety capture team.
3 days after that, they told me they would send me a refurbished machine.
Since the laptop was less than a year old and still under warranty, Denise said that she wanted a new device, not a refurbished one. And while her daughter waited for a replacement,
During her study hall, she doesn't have a laptop to work on. During free time during class, she can't work on anything. So it makes things harder. When she gets home, she just has that much more to do.
Now, the investigation doesn't end there. Dell claims the incident was isolated, but made clear that customer safety is of the utmost importance. Eventually, Dell gave Denise a new replacement with a 1-year extended warranty, which she accepted. As for how to prevent this at your home in the future, experts say don't use those third-party accessories like a charger that you might have bought online that's not specifically for your brand of phone or computer. And also be sure to keep the device out of any area that can get very hot and put it on a hard, flat surface. That might help, make things at least a little bit safer.
Excellent.
Very good advice.
Coming up tomorrow at 6 a.m., the best things to buy in March, plus what you should avoid spending your hard-earned cash on.
That's coming up. 6:49 is your time, everybody. We got your stories to watch for when we come right back. Keep it here. All right, welcome back, everybody. In your stories to watch for this morning, there is a manhunt that is underway in Detroit and Warren after the gunman who shot a man threatened to do more harm. Police say that it all started over a financial dispute between cousins.
Today, the Florida shooter's guardian will be in court fighting to be in control of the mother's estate. 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz's mother died last year, and another family took him in. Roxanne Deschamps, from that family that took him in, is now asking the probate court to add her as a beneficiary to the estate of Linda Cruz, the shooter's late mother. Deschamps's attorney has confirmed she is also seeking to add Nicholas's brother as a beneficiary as well.
The Detroit News reports Michigan lawmakers are being subpoenaed in a Michigan gerrymandering lawsuit. Dozens of Republicans are being ordered to hand over internal documents relating to the 2011 redistricting process. The attorney has not said who all received a subpoena. Brandon?
Rain moving in and another bout of heavy rain coming out of Monroe County into the downtown area shortly here. The yellow, orange, this is all liquid. The blue, purple, pink over by Lansing. A couple of wet snowflakes mixing in. Can't rule that out north of M59 this morning, but most of it's rain early and then snow through the afternoon and evening, which is why the Weather Service has put up this winter weather advisory for, again, primarily this afternoon and evening as the rain changes to snow and it begins stacking up several inches, likely around most of the area, and a few bands setting up in areas like Livingston, Oakland County through the afternoon and evening. Winter storm warning for what could be upwards of 6, 7, 8 inches of snow in a few spots. The area of low pressure creating all of this trouble is going to slide east and spin a lot of moisture up with it. Again, mainly rain through the lunch hour and around 1, 2 o'clock, switching over to snow this afternoon. It's going to be cold and wet and breezy until then. But here's 2 p.m. and you see that cutoff line. Some areas could be around lunchtime or even sooner. And if we do get that sooner transition, then snow totals will reach some of those higher marks. But early tomorrow, early Friday, things begin to improve as far as the skies drying out. We'll get some sun back tomorrow. Here's yet another model of snow prediction. Again, I just have to keep reminding everybody it's rain through most of the day till about 2 o'clock and then snow coming down with a vengeance. It is 3, 4, 5 inches for most of Metro Detroit and a few areas getting a little bit more than that by about 2 a.m. on Friday. It all shuts off and the sun is back a little bit tomorrow. Everett.
All righty, we want to take a live look for you from one of our MDOT cameras. This is at I-94 and Lanyo. No traffic issues there to worry about. Traffic looking to move smoothly this morning. We'll keep you posted. It is 6:55. Before we go, we've got today's talker. What is the price tag on a happily ever after life? Well, there is a new wedding survey from wedding planning website The Knot, which reveals how couples are spending their money to say I do.
This is one way to get the nod into the press. New data shows overall wedding costs decreased in 2017 because more couples are choosing less formal affairs. The average cost rang in at more than 33 grand, down slightly from 2016, but that cost does not include the honeymoon.
Wow.
Yeah, the Knot says unique wedding venues and ultimate guest experiences were top priority for couples. As for the most affordable state to tie the knot, it's New Mexico, where the average wedding cost was more than 17 grand.
Where did you guys get married?
Miami.
Miami?
Mm-hmm. Several weddings. One woman.
I think that's important.
I got married on the Hudson River in Peekskill, New York. It was
Very
great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mine was in Orlando, Florida. I think that was pretty affordable.
Yeah, we did a destination.
No. We'll have to wait and see how much Kim DeGiulio spends on hers.
Why do I have the feeling that like the millennials are all, like the younger ones that are coming next, they're all going to like elope or something or go get married at the courthouse and just save the money.
Very smart.
Save some money.
Good call.